maybe the worst day of Ruben Amorim's career, if you do believe his quotes post match from another loss, this time to Brighton. But quite honestly, I don't know if anyone thought United should beat Brighton. Brighton's a better team than United in every single facet. But still, Amorim goes and he says, I know we can succeed, but we need to survive this moment. I am not naive. We need to survive now. We are the worst team, maybe, in the history of Manchester United. Craig, strong words from Ruben Amorim. Is he ingratiating himself to the fan base there, just acknowledging it? Or is he pissing off his elders at the club? What do you think?
No, I think because he's acknowledging it. And I think he said we have to acknowledge it and have to move on and obviously be a whole lot better. But it was 147 years. He gave them the headline they were looking for.
There's got to be a worse team than this, though, in 147 years. Hasn't there?
There must have been.
The 80s, they weren't great for much of the 80s.
No.
They've been relegated 5 times. There has to be a team that's worse than the current one.
Is it 5 times?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When was the last time?
Ooh, boy.
A long time ago.
You can't come with those kind of stat stubs.
I know. Now we're on. I'm looking at when was the last time?
I'm going to say it's let's go around. I think it's going to be in the 50s before Sir Matt Busby arrived. I'm going to say 53.
Yeah.
Might be a good guess.
Is anyone looking at this up?
I am. I found it. Yeah.
60s, maybe.
Yeah. I'll say 61.
Okay. See, when was Munich? That was what year was Munich? That was 50. Oh my gosh, I know this. It's terrible.
Well, here's a hint. Some of you were alive.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. So it could be in the 40s.
Wonger, you look great.
And some of you
were
dead in the future.
Was it the 70s?
Mm-hmm.
Early 70s?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, 73.
We'll say 72.
4.
73.
74?
No, it was 73, 74 season, so it would have happened in 74.
What a great year. I was born and United went down. Well, that's some kind of year, isn't it?
There you go.
Did your mom? A better place for it.
Was that a so did your mom call?
Sorry.
No, that would have been 70. Oh, that would have been 73 because I was born in April.
Oh my gosh, not such a blue Monday after all.
Oh, that's a very blue Monday.
Maybe for your mom.
Munich air disaster was 58, of course, 58, and they still managed to. Incredible, right? What they did after that. Okay, so back to the Amorim quote. So, Jimmy, I mean, as a footballer in that room, do you want to hear your coach say that? Does that motivate, or does it depend purely on the personality?
No. If your manager says that, I mean, there's a reason why he's saying it. It's because they do stink, and the players will know that they're not performing and they're not having a good season. They'll know, but the problem is, too, with a lot of players, you know, they're ego-driven, and they don't want to admit sometimes that they aren't a great side at the moment. And the manager's come out, and he's just saying what everybody else is saying, because it's definitely not good enough for Man United and where they are in the table right now. So that's a harsh reality. They're terrible.
Well, Dubs, 11 points from 33 under Amorim. They've shown some more fight, I think, compared to under Ten Hag. But the system that Amorim really wants to play, he simply doesn't have the players for it. So he's trying a bunch of stuff right now, it seems. If any coach is more secure in the Prem right now, it's probably Arne Slot, actually. There's probably a few. But, I mean, Amorim is very, very secure, though, I would think. And he can say these things. He's gone to that club, right? And he's told them, and he's told the ownership, listen, this is not going to be a one-year fix. This is about, let's survive this year, which is crazy to talk about. Let's assess what we have, and then let's blow it up this next summer. Surely that is what the plan here is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you're saying about like the grit, the fight, You are seeing that a little bit, but you're not really seeing the cohesion, and you're not really seeing the pieces being put together because, as you said, they don't really have the pieces in that squad. It's piecemeal, right? In order to play the way that he wants them to play. But I think he's doing two things. He's letting the fan base know that it's unacceptable. And it's what Forrest said. The rest of that quote by Amarim saying that we're the worst team in United's history is he said, here, I've given you the headline. And what he's doing with that is the Craig Forrest art of deflection, right? He's talking about it in broad strokes. This is a big headline. It's putting the players under pressure. It's letting the fan base know that it's unacceptable, but it's also a macro look, right? It's preventing a deep dive into the fact that they were played off the pitch by a Brighton, and that they've been unacceptably inconsistent under his reign. So I think it allows him, it gives him more time. Yes, he does have it, as you're saying. I think because he comes in, it's as a long-term project. And they're not expected to be, I think, consistently amongst the best in the Prem immediately. And they're not going to be that, but they have to stop these super gigantic swings between a competent side, a good side in the Prem, and a really abysmal one, which is what they were against Brighton.
I think also it's him being honest and saying, enough's enough. This is about the players. The players aren't good enough. You look at the managers that we've had, Ten Hag, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Solskjaer. The list goes on with managers. And they keep getting fired, but the players are not good enough. They don't have a good squad.
Mm-hmm.
And until they fix that, you're not going to see results. It's not the management. It's the players. And that's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. You can only fuck with the cock you got.
Yeah.
See, you'll regurgitate that great line, but you won't tell us about your terrible career story because we told you before.
Yeah. The philosophy of Craig Forrest. It runs deep and happily.
But you look at look at the 11 from the weekend. I mean, there's some part of the solution here was in that team, right? There's some good players still in that starting 11. You look at De Ligt. I think De Ligt's going to be okay eventually. They just re-signed Harry Maguire to a new contract. Euro looks to be a young player, but a player that in the past has shown himself to be worth a shitload of money for a defender. That's why they signed him. Everyone applauded that signing last year from Lille, right? Ugarte shown it in the past. He can be combative. Mainu was the golden boy this time last year of English football, right? You look at Diallo. I mean, my God, he's been a bright spot this year. Fantastic player. Bruno is Bruno, right? He's a star in the Prem. And Xerxes, well, we'll see about him. Unproven, but costs lots of money. And Nana, I mean, listen, he's been a bit of an issue, especially on the weekend. And maybe it's time to try him in another league somewhere, because Inter, he was fine, but he's making mistake after mistake this season. But I mean, it's not as if they're the diabolical-looking team there. There's something.
Charms, before any of these guys answer, I'm just going to throw in from our Footy Prime supporters on Twitter. The best part of any Man United match is our Man United supporter, Alan Scholes, running commentary. And Alan wrote, Anana with the paddle boards on today. Hope he's the one to get benched next game. Absolutely embarrassing. So thanks, Alan, for running commentary. But if you're this is where Alan's at, and he's a huge United fan. So I can't imagine the people who are there every week coming in as a supporter, seeing them on the pitch like the way they are. Is it easy to hate your own team, to be frustrated? It must be easy and fun a little bit too, right?
I think for United fans, it's easy to hate everything above the team itself, right? It goes right to the Glazers, and it began there. It began the minute that Fergie left, right? It all started then, and the Glazers had just come in because of Fergie. They managed to get some trophies still, and then the reality hit. No Fergie, everything falls apart. The no investment in certain areas of the club, maybe on the pitch they did. They brought in superstar manager after superstar manager, didn't work out. So I think the hatred from a fan base is directed towards ownership. And even the new ownership under Ratcliffe, it's hardly been smooth dubs so far. He's made some very controversial decisions. He hasn't come in and just like wiped the slate clean and this is the movement. This was happening now moving forward. It's been a gong show off the pitch since he arrived.
Yeah, it has done. And I think the reason why Amram gets a longer leash here is because he's not to blame for the current state of affairs, but the onus is on him to fix it. So that leash will get shorter and shorter. But I read this great quote in kind of the wrap up in The Athletic of the weekend in the Prem. And it said that the gap between mission statements and tangible results is stark. So like, that's what you're seeing now. And like, Wong, are you talking about as a fan? It's you don't love this. It's really difficult as a fan. Like, you want to moan and complain about things when you think it should be better and the results don't match your expectations. But you don't want to see a storied club in this state as a fan. As a Liverpool fan, I love to see it. But I think, again, as I've said in the past, that the Prem is better when United is a good side. I think it makes for better storylines in the Premier League. But yeah, it's only a matter of time before Amram is under pressure. But I think it has been about a year, right, since Ratcliffe has the majority kind of stake in United. I think he's going to be under the gun really, really soon. So where some of this hate and this vitriol is directed at him.
Well, even the sporting director came and went after, paying lots of money to free him from Newcastle, right? Wasn't it? I forget now. Remember that a few weeks ago now? I forget the name now. Came amidst much fanfare, and it didn't work out. He fell out with the other guy they brought in. whose name I forget. This is why we are Footy Prime, because all these great
wasn't it Jason
insights.
Jason Wilcox?
He's still there, but it was the guy
it was Daniel somebody, no?
Yes,
and Newcastle.
Ash,
Daniel Gibbs Wong.
Daniel Ashworth.
Daniel Gibbs Wong.
Ashworth.